If you had told me 2 weeks ago that I would walk out of a prequel to one of the most classic horror films of all time, not only feeling impressed, but thinking it's one of the best movies of the year so far, I would have laughed in your face and called you a liar. Hi everybody, Anthony here from Awesome Anthony Productions, and today I'm going to give you my review of the prequel to The Omen, the first Omen. But before we get started, you know exactly what to do at the end of the video. If you think I've earned it, please leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you never miss any of my new reviews. Now let's get into it. The first Omen tells the story of the conspiracy that brought little Antichrist Damien to the Thorn family in the first place. Taking place in 1971, the story revolves around Margaret, played by Nell Tiger Free, badass name by the way, as she travels to Rome to work in a nunnery that's also an all-girls school and an orphanage. She's here to begin her life of service to the church, but right away, things don't seem right. Some of the sisters and priests kind of give her the creeps. There's one problem child girl that the nuns constantly lock away to isolate her from the other children, and she's having strange demonic visions, eventually leading her to uncover the conspiracy to bring about the Antichrist. This movie. When I first heard that a prequel was coming for The Omen, I really didn't expect much. Prequels, especially if they're for classics that have been around for decades, usually miss the mark for me. Perfect example, both versions of the prequel to The Exorcist that are both piles of hot garbage. But from the beginning of the first Omen, I could tell that this was going to be something different and something special. The first area this movie succeeds in is with the cast. Most of the time when a prequel brings back characters from the original, it kind of tosses the stakes right out the window because you know that whatever terrifying situation they make it into, they're gonna survive because they're in the original movie. This one wisely avoids that trope by having the only character returning be Father Brenner, the guy who warns Damien's adoptive father about the fact that he might be the Antichrist in the original film.
You see me in hell, Mr. Thorne? There we will share out our sentence.
Played here by the Witch's Ralph Ineson, once again using his flair for intensity and his deep, raspy voice to add a strong dramatic layer that just adds a ton of tension during his scenes. But outside of that, having our main character, Margaret, be a prospective nun who ends up stumbling on this conspiracy while experiencing increasingly up stuff makes for a very enthralling watch. Not only do you have no idea what is happening or what is going to happen to her, putting you right in her shoes, but Nell Tiger Free sells every bit of this performance incredibly well. She showcases vulnerability, paralyzing fear, sheer confusion, and pure sympathy so naturally, especially when experiencing a horrifying vision.
It's not real, it's not real, it's not real. It's not real. Who said that?
Or trying to show some love to the problem child of the orphanage, Carlita, played by Nicole Sirachi, who also does a great job. Other standouts in the cast here include Bill Nighy as Cardinal Lawrence. No, not Bill Nye, Bill Nighy, who has a brief role but brings his all to it as he always does in his movies. Sonia Braga as Sister Cecilia, who always gets in Margaret's way with a fierce intensity. And Maria Caballero as Margaret's roommate Luz, who offers a brief respite of comic relief and a sympathetic ear that allows Margaret to let her hair down a little bit. There's also Ishtar Curry Wilson as Angelica, but the less said about her, the better experience you'll have going into this film. Just know that she may have popped up in a few nightmares of mine after this movie. The second thing this movie does incredibly well is tell a very intriguing and dark mystery of a story in vein of the original Omen. Yes, it does cross over into some of the same territory as the original, but it does so in a reverent way that makes sense with the story that they're trying to tell, and it never feels like cheap fan service. From the beginning, there are enough pieces laid out here and there that it really drew me in without spoiling too much of the story, and it just left me waiting to see what secrets the movie held, and what would be revealed once the whole plot is out there. And it delivered. The full conspiracy about why the church wants to bring about the Antichrist and how that plan is carried out are so well thought out and written that when combined with a couple of crucial twists, even though I may have guessed one kind of early in the movie, and some red herrings, it's nothing short of very satisfying. Super fans of the original Omen may be a little annoyed by a couple of changed plot points regarding Damien's birth parents, but I don't really mind a retcon or two if it gives us a strong movie like this with a layered slow burn mystery. But not everything is a slow burn here, bringing me to the third thing this movie does incredibly well, the horror. This movie brings some truly horrific shit to the screen that pushes the R rating as far as it can go. Apparently, the MPAA gave it an NC-17 rating several times before they made a minuscule cut and brought it down to an R. These filmmakers know exactly what buttons to push to make you uneasy, to make you jump in a way that feels earned, not just a cheap jump scare, to raise your heart rate and keep it elevated for minutes at a time, and how to disturb you with haunting imagery and music that will stick in your head long after the credits roll. You guys know I'm a horror buff and can handle anything a movie throws at me, but even I almost looked away at a few points. The scares and disturbing visuals here are so intense that they should thrill genre fans all over the globe, especially the infamous birthing sequence that's been used as viral marketing for this film, showing people running out of the theater. That alone is worth the price of admission. If I had one small complaint though, I appreciated nearly every second of this film, but keeping in mind the true downer of an ending that The Omen has, I couldn't help being just a little bit let down by the ending here. I won't spoil anything, but it seems like the filmmakers didn't really have the guts to end it on such a dark and sinister note as the original film. I was still thoroughly impressed by this movie though. It's easily the best horror movie I've seen so far in 2024 and will 100% be on my top 10 horror list for the year. Overall, this is a tense, disturbing, and thought-provoking prequel to The Omen that has no business being as great as it is. The acting is top-notch, the visuals and cinematography are excellent, the story and mystery are thoroughly intriguing, and the horror is just on a whole other level compared to what I've seen recently, even if the ending leaves just a little bit to be desired. And that's my review of the first Omen. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this review, you know exactly what to do. I said it earlier. Please leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you never miss any of my new reviews. While you're at it, you can scroll down the description below, find the links to my socials, leave a comment, let me know if you saw the movie and what you thought. The movie opened at like number 4, so I wouldn't be surprised if not a whole lot of people have seen it. And if you want more of my content, you can click or tap on these cards here. I'll take you to my review of Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire, or just over to my channel where you can check out my reviews, my shorts, and my old shit. Thanks for watching everybody, and I will see you next time for my review of Monkey Man.